Good morning. Welcome to day 3. This is my 10 Beethoven pieces that are off the beaten track. Well, not really off the beaten track, just not the symphonies or the concertos. Trying to keep the idea of his 250th birthday going because we've got other things to think about. And you know, I've got his bust on my fireplace there, and he just stares at me going, "Why isn't anyone talking about me anymore?" No, I mean. Right, so today's choice is back to a more soulful Beethoven, and it's the slow movement from his Ghost Trio, Opus 70, number 1. It's a great trio anyway. For the most part, quite happy and exuberant. First and last movements are very jolly and dramatic and joyous. But the slow movement, where the trio gets its name from, is very soulful and with some slightly spooky moments, hence its title. And it has a beautiful part for the cello. And you kind of think, what an amazing cello concerto Beethoven would have written. I mean, he almost did in his triple concerto, but that's not on a par with the other concertos, to be honest. I mean, I love it, but it's not the violin concerto. So it's a wonderfully soulful piece of music, very touching, and I've got it playing in the background. I've switched it right down today because although it sounds quiet now, Beethoven and his dynamics. About 30 seconds, it'll be getting louder. So, which it is starting to do now. And I want to talk about the actual YouTube clip that I've chosen of this because I think it is one of the greatest filmings of a performance ever. I never get tired of watching it. It's the amazing lineup of Jacqueline Dupre, Daniel Barenboim and Pinchas, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Pinchas Zuckerman. If I'm not pronouncing it right, I'm not a musicologist. I'm just a nerd. So you can correct me later. But I think it's Pinchas Zuckerman. And the intensity of their performance is unbelievable. I mean, she's sort of sitting there and they're kind of looking at each other like this. They're like one. They are one person. And there is nothing in that music that they don't get out of. The seriousness of what they're doing, the engagement with the soul of Beethoven is absolutely there, and and it has and because it has such a featured role for the cello, Dupre is the star, and the two guys just kind of let her do her thing. And the close-ups, because I'm watching it now over my shoulder, the close-ups on her face, I mean, you could turn the sound down and watch it and you'd still be amazed. So I definitely recommend that you watch this clip if you've never seen it before. If you don't want to watch the whole trio, I mean, God, the whole thing is only 25 minutes. Do yourself a favour. It's probably about 10 minutes in to the clip. And the YouTube clip does have little bars where the movements are, so you can find it. It's a wonderful piece. Listen to that. I don't know if you can hear that, but there she's. Oh, that's lovely. It's lovely. Sorry. I'm sorry if I look a dick. I just said dick. Sorry. If I look an idiot when I'm playing these, but I can't help it. It's what I do when I'm here on my own. So there we go. Beethoven's Ghost Trio, Opus 70. Oh, and there's a lovely moment in the film Immortal Beloved, which is based on truth, where I can't remember which one of the contenders for the Immortal Beloved. Google that. That's a whole other cast. And her son has just been killed in the French attack on Vienna. And Beethoven, being Beethoven, takes some music to her, this, the piano trio, and they play it. And can't remember what they say in the film, but what Beethoven said in real life was, "Now we will speak in Turnen." So that's probably not right as well, but you know what I mean, tones, or "Now we will speak in music." And they start to play this. And I just think that's an amazing moment, because he couldn't speak very well with words, but he could speak in music, and they could speak together in music. And I think that says a lot about the wonder of music making, really. It didn't exactly happen like that. It wasn't one of the immortal beloved women that he did it with. It was a friend whose son had died. But he did play music with one of his immortal beloved contenders when her husband died. Because there are two accounts of that, I tend to think that was Beethoven's way of dealing with comforting people, because he probably wasn't great at doing it. He certainly wasn't great at comforting himself. So he would do it with music. And I think that's a lovely scene in the film. Great film, by the way, if you've never seen it. Stupidly, they take something that's so far from what could possibly have happened and seem to make it true. Try and make it true. I mean, it could be, I suppose, but it's certainly one of the more far-fetched theories. And they have such a great cast. Gary Oldman is so perfect. That wonderful scene where he's playing the Moonlight Sonata and having his head on the piano and playing it like that. And, it could have been the great Beethoven film. It's still great if you haven't seen it, but I mean, stick to the facts, guys. Anyway, Beethoven's piano trio, Opus 70, The Ghost.